Charlie Rowley and Dawn Sturgis collapsed on the weekend. Fire engines and ambulances descended on the property.
He was sweating loads, dribbling, and you couldn't speak to him. He was making funny noises and he was rocking backwards and forwards, and there was no response from me. He didn't even know I was there.
Officers wore hazmat suits to stretcher them out, initially thinking they'd taken a bad batch of drugs. They soon suspected they were probably dealing with something far more serious.
These two patients are in a critical condition following exposure to the nerve agent Novichok.
Areas the couple had visited, their homes, a church, a chemist and a park, have been closed or cordoned off. Police stood guard over a rubbish bin.
The priority for the investigation team now is to establish how these two people have come into contact with this nerve agent. And I have around 100 detectives from the counter-terrorism policing network working solidly on this investigation.
The property where they fell ill in Amesbury is just 13 kilometres from Salisbury, where the former Russian spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter were poisoned 4 months ago. And it's 9 kilometres from the Porton Down Research Laboratory, where the samples were confirmed as a nerve agent.
We are not in a position to say whether the nerve agent was from the same batch that the Skripals were exposed to. The possibility that these two investigations might be linked is clearly a line of inquiry for us.
Local residents have been told to expect an increased security presence. Police have insisted it's a precautionary measure.
We live literally 2 seconds away, so it is a bit of a concern, especially as you're hearing the cordons are sort of in Salisbury, other places in Amesbury as well. So yeah, very alarming.
Residents had been assured after the Skripals recovered that the decontamination was complete and they weren't at risk. But with two people in hospital in a critical condition, they'll be asking if that's an assurance they can rely on. Lisa Miller, ABC News.
So let's learn a little bit more about this military-grade nerve agent Novichok. It, of course, first came to light with an attack on the former Soviet spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia. Here's Girish Solani.
Novichok is a series of nerve agents developed by the Soviet Union in the 1970s and 80s under a program codenamed Foliant. The name itself means newcomer in Russian, and a number of variants of A230 have been manufactured. A234 is supposedly 5 to 8 times more potent than VX. That's the nerve agent used to kill Kim Jong-nam at KL airport last year. In fact, Russian scientists claim they are the deadliest nerve agents ever made. Yet they are made from two relatively harmless materials, which makes it easier to transport and store without being caught. The chemical weapon was designed to be harder to detect than any other nerve agent. It's when the components are mixed together that they become fatal. Novichok can be inhaled as a fine powder, or if in liquid form, can be absorbed through the skin or ingested, that's without potential victims even realizing it. The agents can reportedly be delivered via a variety of systems, including a spraying device, bombs and missiles. So why is it so deadly? Well, it attacks the nervous system and stops messages being transmitted around the body. This in turn can cause loss of vision, constricted airways and the heart to slow, as well as convulsions, loss of consciousness and vomiting. Asphyxiation or cardiac arrest can lead to death. Symptoms begin within seconds or minutes of exposure. And as we've seen in the Sergei and Yulia Skripal case, victims can be treated. Antidotes can help stop the poison from spreading, but they are not a cure. Some damage already done cannot be reversed. Anyone exposed to the nerve agent should have their clothing removed and their skin washed with soap and water. Their eyes should be rinsed and they should be given oxygen. Russia's UN ambassador has insisted that development work on the Soviet-era nerve agents stopped in 1992 and that existing stockpiles were destroyed in 2017. But Novichoks have never been declared to the OPCW, the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons.